Let's talk about file management. This does not work like your phone or your gaming device or your iPad. Your PCs, your Macs, it is required that you pay attention when you're saving files and where they're going. You can get into a lot of trouble losing files and not saving in the correct locations, and then you won't be able to find them for future reference and can lose work. This is also a really important concept because right now we're living in a world where people are working both at home and at work, and they're working remotely sometimes. And as you're working with files, you need to know where you're saving files. Are you saving them locally on your computer? Or are you saving them on the cloud? And we'll talk about what the cloud is, but I think it's important for you to note where you're saving and how you're saving files. So when we're working with files on your computer, we are going to be using what's called the File Explorer. That's this manila folder icon down here on your taskbar. And if you're inside of your start menu, you can also access it at any time by clicking Documents or Pictures, because Documents will take you to your Documents folder, which you can see right here, because I'm in this PC Documents. Or if I click on Pictures, it will take me into my Pictures folder, this PC Pictures. This is important because any of these are opening up a File Explorer window. So you can see I have lots of different File Explorer windows open. When you're saving files, you need to know where you're saving them. So by default, you're going to be asked to save to the Documents folder, but you may want to be saving to your cloud, which is your OneDrive, which is your online file, so it's accessible from any computer. If you're saving to your Downloads folder, it's going to save only on this computer that is available. So let's go ahead and let's see what this looks like when we save to our Downloads folder. So I'm going to go ahead and snap my Downloads folder to the left side of the screen, and I'm going to go ahead and go to the right side of my screen, and I currently have a document open on Word. So if you don't have a document open in Word, go ahead and pause the video here and open one up. I'm then going to go ahead and save this document. Now, the reason I know this document has never been saved is because it's called Document 1 up here at the top. That's the name of the file. This is important because this file, if I make changes, like typing my first and last name, and I go to close it, it will ask me if I want to save the changes to this file, and it will default to naming it what it finds inside the document because it's never been named, because it's never been saved. However, if I hit cancel and I want to be purposeful about my file, I can always go to the File tab and click Save or Save As, and I can save the file. When I click Save, for the first time, it's going to pop me to Save As because I've never saved this file before. If I had already saved this file and made changes, I could click Save and it would just save it because the file already exists and it knows where to put it, and it's just overwriting that old file. So we'll see that in just a moment. With Save As, I'm going to choose this PC, and up here at the top, I then get to choose what I want to name it. So if I want to name this My First Document, I can then choose what type of document it's going to save as. So is it going to be a Word document? Is it going to be a template? Is it going to be a 97 2003 document? Is it going to be a PDF? And these are important, and we'll talk about file types in the future, but for now, we'll just stick with the default. The next thing you get to choose is where. Now this is kind of interesting because up at the top, it's showing you where it's going to save it. In this case, it's going to save it into the Documents folder over here, but I want it to save in the Downloads folder. So I'm going to click this File folder option, and I'm going to go and then navigate on the left to my Downloads folder. When I do that, I can then click Save, and I now have my first document saved in my Downloads folder, and you can now see it pop up over here in my Downloads. I think this is important because when I make a change this time, I can say Leah Silvius change made, and then I can go File Save, and it just overwrites the old file with the new one with the changes that have been made. If I wanted to save a copy of this file, I could go File, Save As, and I could say My First Document copy, and that would save a second file in the same location. So the Save As feature is great when you want to create a duplicate of this file with a new name, new file type, or with a new location. But when you're working with files, you need to be managing them appropriately. So what I would suggest is that as you're working, you create a folder where everything can be stored. Now, that depends on what class you're in and where you're working, because some files can go online and are small enough to go online, or they may be larger than you might think. So it's important that we are following instructions for file management because you don't want to lose your work.